Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back for another VB WRX video today. So we're going to be swapping out the top hats for my 2-piece 6-piston Brembo STI brake kit, and we're going to be switching out the OEM pads for upgraded P3 pads from Paragon Performance. So if you guys have ever been curious what it is like to rebuild a 2-piece rotor by me exchanging out the top hats for the revised version, I'm going to kind of simulate that if you guys were wondering what's involved to take them apart, put them back together, how to Loctite everything down. We're going to show you that. But these are the new pads that Paragon sent me. This is the thickness of them. So they're 15.5 millimeters thick. They're for the 08S, or for the 18 plus STI 6-pot Brembos. Looks like they fit the ISF as well. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that. So that is really cool. So if you had replacement pads from all these other brands, Project Mu, Hawk, these are all the different SKUs that this pad would replace, or the OEM pads. The OEM pads are like $420 to 500 bucks online. These look really nice, and my pads are pretty much shot. So let's get these swapped out. If you guys were curious on how to swap out your pads or rebuild rotors, we're going to do that, and then we're going to test this, take this for a drive at the end, and see what kind of a difference they make. So working out here in the 35-degree rain. GTR's in the garage right now, so I'm stuck in the driveway with the WRX, but I'm going to go ahead and just pop these pins out. Alright, we've got everything on the table we need, so we can go ahead and start disassembling the 2-piece rotor. We're just going to crack off all these little 10 mil nuts all the way around. We'll put the new top hat in, reapply some Loctite, torque it all down to spec. If you guys are wondering why I have all these other brakes on the table, these are my OEM brakes that I'm selling for from my R32 GTR, because I'm doing a big 370Z sport brake kit. So when you look at these Paragon rotors from the back, you have a special bolt in the back. It's an E10. So you need E10 socket. I'll put a link in the description for the socket that I'm using and all the tools. Okay, so we're going to be using all new hardware, and you can see basically all these little holes all the way around. This is where everything lines up, and it drops right through the hat. So we'll set this on here. So you're going to take these little pieces, and they're going to go, don't put them in lengthwise, you want to put them in widthwise so you've got enough overlap, and they just drop right down into the channel. So then you just make sure you seat everything down flat, and we can start reattaching our hardware back through here. There is this little top cover piece that goes over each one. Make sure the little nub goes to the back, kind of down in that channel. That kind of helps hold it in. What you guys are going to do is use some high temp thread locker from Loctite, and you're going to take your bolts, you're going to slide them up from underneath. Once you get it up here, you're going to go ahead and you're going to put the thread locker on it. You don't need a lot, you just need all we got to do is just make our way around. We're going to get them lightly tightened. Follow the Paragon Performance instructions manual for assembly. This is an 8-bolt pattern, so make sure you guys tighten everything down in the proper sequence. Now we can go ahead and torque it down. I'll put the instructions manual up on the screen, but they have it right on Paragon Performance's website. So it's got the torque specs of 10.5 foot-pounds. All right, we are all done. So work my way around and everything is nice and tight. And I kind of went back and forth, crisscross, to make sure it doesn't get, you know, off-centered to one side. Then wipe off the extra thread locker. So that only took about 10 minutes, and don't worry guys if you're feeling somewhat kind of intimidated, like, I don't know, some people don't like touching their brakes or being paranoid, you know, something's gonna roll wrong, something's gonna come apart. Just follow the assembly process on the website. It's very simple. You can see everything is lined up exactly where it's supposed to be. And I've got all the little lips on the inside edge. Everything's centered, everything's lined up. So this is ready to go back on. And thank you to Paragon Performance for sending me out the brand new pads to test out. I'm super excited for this new P3 compound. A little bit more high performance pad over the stock pads. And the stock pads were pretty far worn down. You can see how much is left there. Really not a ton of material left. They're probably 40%, maybe 50%. These are brand new. The one thing I do notice is there is no wear indicator like the factory ones, so I'll have to keep an eye on these and check them regularly because I won't have that OEM style wear indicator that'll squeal. If you guys missed my full STI brake swap that I did on the VB WRX, I'll put a link in the description down below as well as a tag up above. You guys check that out if you want to do STI brakes. Definitely transforms the car. The best mod I think I've done by far. I'm very impressed with the Paragon 2-piece rotors. They look fantastic after 3 months of being on the car and approximately 4,500 miles on them. I don't see any uneven wear around the rim. Look like they're holding up really well. There's no cracks, and I've put these through some pretty hard braking, so very happy with them. Let's go put them back on. All right, everything's all torqued down behind here, and you can see where before the rotor was more of a bias towards the inside, now it's centered. See, the pins are all the way forward and through like they need to be. These are good to go. Those orange pads look super aggressive from the back and from the front. So Paragon, look at this. The rotor is pretty much dead center. I'll put some filler gauges on it, but it is much better. You can see the pads had plenty of room to line up, centered with everything. So this is going to be a perfect install for fresh, brand new pads. So thumbs up. Thank you guys. Now that we're going to be pushing the STI brake kit even harder in preparation for today's video, a few weeks back I went ahead and dismounted my Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires off my GTR. They're about 3 years old, have 3,000 miles on them. They're a 265 35 18 versus a 245 40 18, so they're going to give us like almost an extra inch of tire, and we're going to need all the traction we can get. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to test these bad boys to the limit, and we're going to push this VB to see what it can do with the STI brakes, guys. If you like this content, hit the thumbs up, and let's get back to the video. For giving me so much more confidence driving this road. As I brake, I can feel the car lunging forward more, stopping much harder, especially once you get some heat into the pads. Those pads are freaking awesome, holy crap. The Paragon brake pads are freaking awesome. As far as having them on the car, I've had them on the car for about 3 weeks now, And brake dust is actually less brake dust than the stock STI pads. As far as your initial bite, there's more initial bite. You can see in the braking, and if you listen to, there's so much stopping power, added stopping power, that you can kind of ride the brake pedal and you can feel that ABS when it's going to engage, and you kind of ride that fine line. So it definitely takes the car to the next level. I hope this video showed you some useful information as far as rebuilding two-piece rotors, how it's done, what you do. And these are a street/track setup, so they're not like full race, but they're perfect for me because I'm using the car for street driving, because it's my daily driver, and then occasional track use is what we're going to be doing with it this year. So this pad compound is perfect for me. They do make an actual full track set of pads if you guys want that more aggressive, you know, stopping bite, but these work perfect. They're not supposed to be too overly aggressive where they're going to chew through your rotors and stuff like that, to where you're going to have to, you know, be putting out extra money for rotors all the time, and that's what I need. So yeah, I'd say that's a no-brainer versus $500 STI pads. You could buy these for less than 250 bucks, and you can't go wrong. They're made in Japan and good quality stuff. Paragon Performance isn't offering a set of rear rotors or rear pads for the VB or V8 STI. I asked them to make a set. I want you guys to do me a favor and also message in requesting that you guys want a set. That way they go into production, because it would be nice to match the front and rear pads to have a complete matching setup front and back. So I'd like to thank Paragon Performance for sending me these to test them out. They have my personal stamp of approval. I'm happy with them. And if I was going to buy a set of pads versus the STI pads for these, less than half the price and better performance, I would say hands down, definitely go with these. They do a little bit of brake noise, or like squeaking, squealing. But it's mostly when you're coming to like a complete stop and you just barely have this slight amount of brake pedal pressure on the pad. I've heard them make a little bit of noise, but other than that, don't really hear any noise at all. I will put a link in the description for the rotors I have that I got from Paragon for the VB WRX two-piece. They make them for both the 6-pot Brembos or the 4-piston Brembos, so that's up to you guys, and I'll link both sets of pads down below. You guys leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you thought of today's video, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care.